Welcome in. Greg Ruff and Kelsey Cameron with us, the women's soccer coach here at Trevecca. How many years?
This is my 5th season.
5th year? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Flies
You've been
by.
through it has, and at the same time, you've been through a lot during this time. It's just you're talking about the 5 years, and every coach that I've talked to, and really every athlete that I've talked to, has been, it's been difficult,
Yeah.
but there's been rewards, and I think we kind of talked about that a little bit. But talk about, we'll just start off. What have you learned from COVID, going through COVID, coaching, personal, whatever?
Yeah, it's I'm sure for everybody it's been a really difficult process. I've learned a lot of things, but I think in regards to coaching and leading, I think for me when COVID first hit and everybody got sent home, I know some coaches, I have friends at other schools, they were like meeting 2 or 3 times a week and doing all that kind of stuff, and I just I think, I didn't have the energy to do that. It was really hard to stay kind of motivated, and so we didn't do that. And I think in retrospect, we probably could have done some more of that. So I think going into this next round here, we actually already have a few players that have been quarantined this week. And so just really being intentional with those players and staying connected to them. And I think we're off to an awesome start just as far as like team culture goes and all that. We went on a mission trip a couple weeks ago. So just kind of coming off of that and into this, really keeping these players connected through all this. I know we're going to hit more speed bumps. We're just calling them speed bumps.
Yeah.
But we're going to hit more speed bumps, and we've hit our first one. So just trying to really learn from what I maybe didn't do so well the first time, and try to stay connected with them as best as we can.
You guys you didn't get to play in the fall. You had to play in the spring. It was a shortened season. What kind of impact does that have on your athletes, on you, getting prepared for this season, stuff like that, and going into now a full fall schedule?
Yeah, I think some of that's to be determined. I'll be really curious how these athletes handle going from one season to the next. But one of our priorities in the spring was really just to focus on recovery and injury prevention. And so we actually did, we typically would come back and train on a Monday. Pre-COVID would be a pretty difficult session, but this past year it was a very light session. We barely trained. And then we added some more lifting and more just injury prevention, like exercises pre-training and post-training. And we actually we had very few injuries in the spring, and a lot of teams were having a ton of injuries throughout that whole season. So I was pretty excited about that, and just prioritizing that, and hopefully that's going to help us going into this fall season.
And in the middle of COVID, you decided to get married.
Yeah, why not?
I saw pictures. It looked really good, and I happen to know your husband.
Yep.
And great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. It was really fun. Definitely wasn't what we originally planned. We had about 50 people there, but got married in this big, awesome barn in Dixon, Tennessee, and kind of just felt like we had a bunch of friends and family over to hang out, and it ended up being a really special time. And we're about 8 months in, and it's been really fun. Just very grateful for him. And
Good guy. Talk about your team now. You have some people returning, some veterans, and maybe not as many as some, but you have a veteran team now in some respects, but you have a very young team too and now you got 2 classes of almost essentially freshmen, just not a lot of experience.
Yeah, so we this is probably the first season we've had since I've been here that we have a majority of our players actually have postseason experience, which is really, really helpful. We do have the smallest freshman class that I've ever brought in. We've got 6 freshmen, 1 transfer. I'm actually very excited about the experience that we do have, and I've already seen the older players kind of take these younger players under their wing. It's always a tough transition the first few weeks as a freshman, but we've got several players that have a ton of experience postseason, but also just as far as minutes go, we had some young players that got a lot of minutes in the spring of 2020, which I know is going to be really helpful in preparing them for this season too.
I'm going to ask this, and we have just a few seconds here, but is this the first season you will have? This is all players that you recruited?
Yes, this is the first season. Yep. So really excited about that. Everybody's very on board with what we're trying to do, and we just have an awesome. I don't know what you call it, like team vibe, team excitement kind of going into this season. I think there's a lot of expectation on this team in a good way, because we know that we can be in the top couple teams of the GMAC, and we intend to do that. So.
All right. Kelsey Cameron, women's soccer coach here at Trevecca.